Injuries in Athletics by Will Davis. This is me, senior football captain at my small school. I played linebacker and running back. Football was my favorite sport, and I'd worked since the end of my junior year to make this the best year ever. At the first game of the year, our team was winning, and I had 2 touchdowns and an interception. With 2 minutes left until halftime, I was so tired I can hardly remember what happened. But the play call was a run, and my number was called. Soon after I took the ball, 2 guys on the other team fell on the back of my leg mid-stride. I had to leave the field and go straight to the hospital. The local hospital was not qualified to handle such an injury, so they sent me to a specialist in Omaha, Nebraska. The specialist told me I had to wait for the swelling to go down before they could perform the surgery. But I found out in the x-ray that I had dislocated 4 bones, and fractured 2, and tore most of the ligaments and tendons of my foot. I waited 2.5 weeks until the swelling went down and they could fix it. I think I watched every episode of CSI ever made while I honed my skills as a couch potato. During the surgery, 8 screws and 2 metal spacer clips were permanently inserted into my foot to fuse the base of my toes together. I remained in bed for another 2.5 weeks after the surgery as well, giving me a full 5 weeks of immobility. I missed almost a whole quarter of school, the school year, and along with that, homecoming. The school called me and asked me if I'd be able to be at homecoming because I'd been voted to be on royalty as a contender for king. Even though the coronation was only 2 days after my surgery, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I showed up in my wheelchair to find out that my friends had voted me king. During my time on the couch, I went from lifting weights every other day to complete immobility. I lost 30 pounds. I went from 180 pounds down to 150. Since I was 5, I'd been wrestling, and it was always the sport I'd been best at, even though football was my favorite. As soon as I could, I got into the wrestling room and did as much as I could, as I went through 2 casts and a boot. I wrestled just 1 junior varsity match before the sectional tournament. I placed 2nd to qualify for districts. My first match at districts, I wrestled the number 2 ranked guy in the state, and I beat him 6-1. My win sent me to the state tournament for the first time in 4 years of trying. I won my first match at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines 5-3. Unfortunately, I lost my next 2 matches. My conditioning was poor from basically jumping onto the mat and competing from sitting on the couch. It all turned out alright though. Before the injury, I had gotten scholarship opportunities for both football and wrestling. I decided that it was time to put sports on the back burner and find my own identity outside of high school sports. This turned out to be a great idea, because if I'd have gone off on a scholarship, I would have never met my fiancée.